Are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining me today. You're welcome to another episode of Stock to Finish. This is a series where we're exploring why people can't achieve their goals, leading on to the Reset program that we have planned for the 1st of July. Now, we've achieved a couple of things in the past couple of days, 25 days to be precise. We've realized why people don't set right goals. That it's not just about setting smart goals, it's going beyond smart goals to set goals that you know you can accomplish. We've also accomplished a couple of things. We understood that people's work ethics impacts the way they work, and the way they work in one goal is the same way they will work on others. Meaning the way you show up in little things is the same way you will show up in major things. So today we're going to do things a little bit different. I'm already sharing my screen so you can see that it's a quiz. We'll start with a quiz, but before we start with the quiz, let's do a little recap of what we've done yesterday. Yesterday's conversation was on taking ownership for your goals. Oh, thank you so much for joining. Yesterday's conversation was on taking ownership for your goals, understanding the role you play, especially when it comes to your personal development and growth. One key factor we said is this: you do not outsource your personal growth to someone else. When you were in the academic institutions, the schools determined what you studied. But now that you are out of school, you determine your pace, you determine what you want to learn. So it's about working on your strengths and your weaknesses and ensuring that you're enforcing your strengths while you are growing in areas that you want to grow in. We talked about setting goals for different areas of your life, and we're going to do a little bit of work on that today because we still have 5 more days to go with this conversation. Apart from that, we talked about the fact that you need to take ownership for your actions and inactions. Earlier on, 10 days ago, we talked about distractions, how we add internal and external distractions, and how internal and external distractions prevent us from functioning. But there are certain things that we can control and certain things we cannot control. And the things that we can control, our actions, our attitude, the efforts that we put into what we do. So let's go into today's, and we're going to start with a little quiz. So get comfortable, get your pen, get your paper, and at the end of the quiz, you'll be able to determine what your own level of commitment is to your personal goals. Since it's Sunday, we're going to do something in addition to what we usually do, and that's what we call the week ahead. The week ahead is a series where we reflect on the past week and plan for the next week. And the aim is simply this: if we do not create time to reflect and create time to plan, we don't accomplish anything. I want to ensure that you are living each day with a sense of purpose. You are ending each day with a sense of purpose also. So you do not just start your day not knowing what you're going to do, but we're going to plan the night before. And on Sundays, we plan for the new week. So while this series is still running, we're going to continue the conversation and planning for the new week. I think the only next Sunday we're not going to meet because we have the reset on Saturday, so we won't be able to meet on Sunday. But let's get started. So today we're going to do a quiz to look at your self accountability, ownership, how you take ownership for your actions and inactions. So get your pen and paper. And once you have your pen and paper ready, let me know so we can kick it and get started. Right. So it's 10 questions today. And these questions are simple questions. But the rules of the game remain the same. It's about self accountability, it's about ownership. So be honest with yourself. You are given the responses based on where you are today, not where you think you should be. Your responses are not what you wish you were doing or what you wish you had done, but what you actually did. So, your actions, your inactions, your attitude. Why am I asking for honesty, transparency, and vulnerability when it comes to what you're doing? It's simply this: the only way to grow, the only way to change, the only way to transform the way we get things done is if we are honest and vulnerable. If we fail to pay attention to what we're doing wrong, we cannot change. And if we're lying to ourselves and telling ourselves that we're perfect when we are not, then we can't grow. My heart desire is this: that you are the best version of yourself every day, that you are a better version of yourself tomorrow than you are today. So if you do not like the options you give to us responses to this quiz, there's a time for you to change. And we'll talk about how you can make positive changes to your goals. Let's get started. All right. So, pen and paper. And the first question is, how would you rate the efficiency of your current accountability structure in helping you stay on track with your goals? So, how would you rate the effectiveness of your current accountability structure in helping you stay on track with your goals? If you don't have one, say it's not very effective or ineffective. But so is it effective? Is it very effective? You put A. Somewhat effective, you put B. Not very effective, your answer is C. And ineffective, your answer is D. So you've got four options. But I could give you an extra option and you could say E if you have no structure, if you have no accountability structure, then your answer could be E. But I'll read the question one more time and then we go to the next one. So the question is simply this: how would you rate the effectiveness of your current accountability structure in helping you stay on track with your goals? A, very effective; B, somewhat effective; C, not very effective; and D, ineffective. Question 2: how often do you take ownership of your actions and decisions? Do you always take ownership for your actions and decisions? Is it most of the time you do that? Sometimes or rarely. Now, this, like I said, is about the decisions you make. The time you blame your system, you blame everybody in your village, you blame your siblings, you blame every other person but yourself. How often do you take ownership when you don't do the right thing for your actions and your decisions? So I'm taking ownership of something that I have done with regards to the team, and I'm like, okay, I'll be stepping aside and allowing someone else lead. So that's me taking ownership. How often do you take ownership when it comes to your actions and inactions? A, B, C, or D. So we've got four options, and it's always good to be very, very honest with the responses that we give. Okay, and keep your responses because I will let you know where you stand. Question 3: how well do you know your strengths, weaknesses, and areas for improvement? Now, if this is not something you know, then it's good to be honest. So, is it A, very well, B, fairly well, C, somewhat well, or D, not well at all? Remember, there's room for improvement. If you're not where you want to be, then just state the option that reflects your current position as of today. Let me see if you guys on Instagram can see this properly. And yes, you can now. Fantastic. Question 4: do you regularly reflect on your progress and assess whether you are moving closer to your goals? Yes. So if it's A, yes, on a daily basis; B, yes, on a weekly basis; C, occasionally; D, rarely or never. So, do you have a system in place where you regularly reflect on your progress and assess whether you're moving closer or further from your goals? You've got four options as usual: A, yes, on a daily basis; B, yes, on a weekly basis; C, occasionally; or D, rarely or never. That gives us 30 seconds, and we move to the next one in 10. Okay, let's move on. How comfortable are you with taking responsibility for your actions and the outcomes? I don't think anybody is comfortable, but are you very comfortable? Are you fairly comfortable? Are you somewhat comfortable, or you're not comfortable at all when it comes to taking responsibility for your actions and the outcomes of these actions? They're simple questions, but they will get you to think about where you currently stand. How comfortable are you with taking responsibility for your actions and outcomes? Very comfortable, fairly comfortable, somewhat comfortable, or not comfortable at all? We've got the next question coming next. And now, this is a very important one. Do you have a support system or accountability partner who helps you stay motivated and accountable? Yes, I have a strong support system. That's A. B, yes, I have an accountability partner. C, I have a support I have some support, but it could be stronger. Or D, I don't have any support or accountability partners. And we'll talk about the difference between them. So, support could be people that understand what you're doing and they just support you. So, it could be people in your family, they support you. You have a very strong family. So, no matter what, they support you, but they don't really hold you accountable. An accountability partner is someone that you tell your goals, you tell your action plans, and they hold you accountable for those goals that you want to accomplish. So you're not just going about not having these goals and not accomplishing them, but they hold you accountable. Yes, you can have support, but it could be stronger. So you have people that support you, but they don't even really care whether you do it or not. Or I don't even know what support is. I don't know what an accountability partner is. I don't have any. State your option. D. Next, how proactive are you in identifying and addressing obstacles or challenges that may hinder your progress? Are you very proactive? That's A. B. Fairly proactive. C. Somewhat proactive. Or D. Not proactive at all. Now, this is with regards to you addressing obstacles or challenges that may hinder your progress. This is something we addressed in the past. Even if you were not here, just pick an option that you feel is it. So by proactive, I mean that you are not reactive. Sometimes when it comes to certain things, we just react whenever it happens, but proactive, you're planning. You have something in place. How proactive are you in identifying and addressing obstacles or challenges that may hinder your progress? Now, the next question is this: are you open to receiving feedback and constructive criticism from others? A, yes, I welcome feedback and see it as an opportunity for growth. B, yes, but I struggle with receiving feedback at times. C, I'm somewhat open to feedback, but it depends on where it's coming from. It depends on the on the source. Or D, I am resistant to feedback and find it difficult to accept. Where do you find yourself when it comes to receiving feedback? And I think this is the last one. How well do you manage your time and prioritize tasks that align with your goals? Not just so when we mentioned this that this may not just be about your career. So when it's not about your job or things that are that you must do, like schoolwork, how well do you manage your time and prioritize tasks that align with your goals? Oh, A, I have excellent time management and prioritization skills. B, I have good time management and prioritization skills. C, I have average time management and prioritization skills. Or D, I have poor time management and prioritization skills. Where do you fall in this? Wow, I'm liking the answers I'm receiving. This is brilliant. Great. So let's see. Now, this is a wonderful one. Are you actively seeking personal growth and self improvement opportunities? A, yes, I am constantly seeking ways to grow and improve. B, yes, but I could be more proactive in seeking opportunities. C, occasionally, but not as often as I would like. Or D, I am not actively seeking personal growth opportunities. Where do you find yourself when it comes to your own personal growth and self improvement opportunities? Now, so if you have put all your answers together, if you have more A's, if you have most A's, you have a high level of accountability and self ownership. That's brilliant. If you have mostly B's, you have moderate level of accountability and self ownership. If you have mostly C's, you have some level of accountability and self ownership, but there's room for improvement. If you have mostly D's, there's a low level of accountability and self ownership. And I'll extend a warm hand and say, send me a DM and we'll talk. But no matter what, I'm glad that you participated. Thank you so much for participating. Remember what we always say, it's not about where we are, but where we can go to. So don't just see the responses you're given now, today, as your final destination. 6 months from today, if you take the same quiz, you shouldn't be in the same position, because someone that listed most A's could get could be very, very, very arrogant and say, oh, I know everything. I don't need accountability and self ownership. And then they drop. I always say a bad day for your ego is a good day for your soul. What we're trying to do is improve your soul, improve you, and find a way to help you monitor your own growth so you can make the changes that you deserve to make for yourself. Because everybody has what it takes to be the best version of themselves, but it starts with one step at a time. Now, let's talk about a couple of the questions that were asked, and I think there are a few that we can just really go into. How would you rate the effectiveness of your current accountability structure? When it comes to accountability, this is what has worked for me. I am part of a mastermind, and I am also starting a mastermind. So I'm part of a mastermind group. And a mastermind group is people that are your peers coming together, and you're holding each other accountable for your actions and inactions. So you have a situation where one person every week, or everybody has turns being on the hot seat and saying what they've done. And people are not going to allow you give the members of that mastermind group do not allow you give excuses for not doing what you say you will do. And that's the beautiful part about an accountability group or a mastermind group, because sometimes you need people to hold you accountable. Yesterday, I talked about holding yourself accountable, but you can't go alone. I can't remember so I'm going to paraphrase, but if you want to go far, go with friends or something like that. I don't know if anybody remembers the quote I'm trying to give at this point in time. Please write it in the chat and I will just pin it. But I'm just saying, find pairs, find people that are on the same or is on a similar journey with you. For example, my mastermind group, we had an architect, an interior decorator, someone from the tourism industry, and me that was doing social media and coaching. So we all had different things we were doing, but we had similar interests where we were all invested in our own personal growth and development. That was what we had in common. So we shared some things in common, but we didn't share everything in common. So your accountability partners must not share everything in common with you. They should just be common threads. So find your peers and work with them. Taking ownership for your actions and inaction, the more often you take ownership for your actions and say, I did this when I did not do it. Because today we're going to set goals for the next week. And I want a situation where when you're making your commitment statement, you keep that commitment to yourself. Because at the end of today's session, there's a commitment statement you're going to make for the week. And you will state exactly what you're going to do this week. And a week from today, you're going to check if you did it by having those daily, weekly meetings with yourself to ensure that you are on track. So don't trust yourself to be on track. Check yourself. Even the government system has checks and balances. So why shouldn't your life have check and balances? You need to create a system to ensure that you check on yourself and you are on track. How well do you know your strengths and weaknesses? Yeah, I'll recommend taking a strength finder test. If you're not sure, if you answer D for this, my recommendation will be take a strength finder test. Ask people that you trust. If you have people that are older than you or have worked with you, ask these people. Sometimes with introverts, we mask ourselves. We don't really share certain parts of ourselves with others. So it's difficult for people to know our strengths and weaknesses. But there are people that you're comfortable in front of. These are the people you should be talking to. We're going to do a weekly exercise today, so this will fix this problem. How comfortable are you taking responsibility for your actions? I don't think everybody is comfortable all the time, but the more comfortable you are, the better your chances of winning. Because when you state why you did something and why certain things failed, you will be able to succeed the next time. And I think for me, it's reading books, listening to podcasts, and doing a couple of things that helped me build that support that I needed for myself before going externally. Because I could share these books in my accountability group, I could talk to other people about it. So it wasn't just always about me taking from people, but I could have conversations that were engaging because I was engaging with amazing conversations with others online, and I was studying at my own pace. Now, this is not something that is being graded. If no one marks it, like no one cares. But I will know if I don't do what I'm going to do. I found a new book I want to read today, and I was just checking an AI tool to see if the book is something that I should spend my last Audible credit on, because I listen to audiobooks. Um, Being proactive and reactive. We talked about this earlier on, but everybody knows what distracts them. I think this is one I wanted to come to, because some people are here that were not here the day we spoke about this. Everybody knows what distracts them, what prevents them from walking. You know certain obstacles, but sometimes they are in your head and you've not listed it out. So I want us to have a little exercise today, and let's write down certain obstacles that challenge or hinder our progress. For some people, it's their mobile phones. So we have the internal and external distraction. Some people is their mobile phone. Some people is phone calls, not just the mobile phone. When you get a call from a certain person, you spend hours talking to that person. So what you can say is, if this person calls when I'm about to work, I won't pick the call until I have done XYZ, then I can talk to this person. So you need to set boundaries with yourself and with others, especially when it comes to doing things that are for leisure or casual. I'm not saying don't have a social life. Everybody can be introverted. We all need different things. As an introvert, I thrive in solitude. That extrovert will thrive in a different environment. But whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, you need to understand what are the things that distract you. What are the obstacles that could prevent you from focusing on something that you should be focusing on? Some people it's Netflix. Some people it could be anything for you. When I'm talking about being intentional about what you do and being proactive, I'm saying guard your heart with all diligence. You know what the things that would make you fall astray, then don't put those things in front of you. If you're someone that knows that you are on the diet and you shouldn't be eating certain things, you will not have that food at home. Why can't we take that to our goals, even if it's a reading goal, even if it's a journaling goal, even if it's a goal that may seem insignificant to others but is significant to us? Sometimes something that could hinder your growth could be not sharing certain goals with certain people until you are ready, because the words they will speak could just discourage you from doing anything. So you've realized that you shared certain things with them and they kill those dreams. And sometimes they may start doing the same thing that you wanted to do. But when you brought it up, they shut it down. So you know yourself better than anyone else. Yes, I'm expecting everybody to be assertive and to be self aware, but it's about guarding yourself and protecting yourself and being proactive, removing those barriers to entry for yourself. Feedback is a different conversation we're going to discuss on another day. Time management, we're doing that on Saturday. Personal growth and self improvement opportunities. Everyone is different. So for me, I am always seeking new ways to grow and improve. It's just something that being a military child, being a child from Covenant University, every single part of my life, every person that has been a mentor in my life has always instilled that in me. But I also was interested in it. So sometimes we're bringing up children, we want them to see their own personal growth as their own journey, but we also want to direct them and lead them. But we have to lead ourselves first. So one thing that made me start investing in my own personal growth was, like I said, I can't give my children what I don't have. So if I want them to be investing in their own growth, I need to invest in mine for myself, not just for my own children or for my parents. So I think that's the last question, and we will come back to that later. So recognizing the power of choice. We're going to talk about the power of choice. Then we go to our weekly reflection exercise. But thank you all for participating. I am excited that yes, I remember the code. Thank you so much, Ma. You said if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with other people. Fantastic. Yes, that's the quote I was trying to remember. Thank you so much, Ma. Yes, sometimes you need people. You need to be prepared, but you also don't try and do it alone. Don't try and do it alone. Look for people that are on a similar journey, but they don't have to be doing the exact thing you're doing. And that passion shows. Recognizing the power of choice. We started having this conversation yesterday about ownership, but one thing we have to talk about is the power of choice. Now, as an individual, you have the ability to make decisions that are to make conscious decisions and take control of your own direction, especially when you become an adult. It's best to embrace this gift early, and you know this in your teens, because it changes the way you see the world. If you go into uni knowing these things, you're set up for success. People can take certain things from you, knowing that you have the choice to do certain things or not to do certain things. And no is a complete word. You don't need to start explaining why you've told somebody no. So the choices you've made should not always be explained, especially when you are you could be, you know, that people are trying to pull you left, right, and center with peer pressure. But understanding and embracing the power of choice can have a transformative effect on various aspects of your life. And what are these aspects? And these are some key points I wanted us to talk to take into consideration. It gives you that awareness, that heightened awareness of who you are. When you know that this choice that I have made today is a choice that I wanted to make, I wasn't compelled to do it. So it creates that self awareness that you need, especially that the decisions you've made, the success and failures as a result of the choices you made, personal responsibility. We should not always blame others when things go wrong. When things go wrong, we play the role, even if others may have made us make the choice or have influenced our choices. But there's this personal responsibility that we need to take when things go right or wrong. It gives you the credibility that you need. It gives you the fulfillment that you need. To me, it's the catalyst for growth that everybody needs. Every individual needs to take responsibility when they don't do what they say they will do. As Nigerians and Nigerian, we can blame our village people. Things don't go wrong, it's village people. Things go wrong, it's the village people. Things go wrong, it's the village people. NEPA, we blame. Government, we blame. But we don't even see the little things that those people do daily that is impacting the nation. One of my favorite quotes in the world is that a family can survive without a nation, but a nation can survive without a family. And this is where personal responsibility comes in. As a member of a family, you should take responsibility for your actions and inactions before you even go out. They say charity begins at home. So, what are the things that you will do to yourself and say to yourself before you step out the doors of your house? That you will say, I'll be responsible for my actions, I'll be responsible for the way I respond to people when they do certain things to me. I may not like the office that I am in, I may not be treated fairly, but I choose how to respond. That's a choice. That's a choice that no one can take from you. Anger is a good emotion. It's an emotion. It should be expressed, but it's the way you express it that now makes it a problem. So when it comes to the choices we make, one thing that I know that we don't really know how to do in the African community is learn how to express emotions like anger. It's not something that we embrace at all. It's something that we completely neglect. We try and suppress it. So many times when it comes to taking personal responsibilities, because you've not been allowed to express certain things that you've gone through. So you feel encroached. You feel that your freedom has been frozen or has been stolen from you. But the power of choice, when you know that the choices you made are yours, it gives you this freedom and empowers you to do more, especially when it's aligned with your values and goals. So although we live in a world where we cannot paint a complete picture of how every single thing will run, but we can control certain parts. Let's control what we can control to the best of our abilities. That is our actions, and see the difference that it makes. The significance of making conscious choices in personal growth. So, why should we make conscious choices? Most especially when it comes to our personal growth. And everybody talks about a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. I'm sure you've heard 1,000 lectures on growth mindset and fixed mindset. But this is just a summary of what I would say you should think about. With a growth mindset, you're thinking about embracing changes. You're emphasizing effort and persistence. So you are showing up and showing up consistently. You see failure as a not as a stumbling block, but as a learning opportunity. So you wrote a grant, you applied for a job, things didn't go the way you wanted it to go. You don't see that as a stumbling block, but look at the learning opportunities. What can I learn from this thing? I talked about the fact that when I went for BBC interview once, I went, and the introvert in me observes first before she speaks. So it was an assessment center, and I observed first. Now, after observing, I then took charge of the group and did certain things. But there were two people that had already started speaking from the moment we sat down at the table. So after the assessment center, we had a conversation and they picked those two people. And I was sent an email, say, "Oh, you did great. If we will put your name on file." And I asked for feedback. And she said, "You were amazing. But the first thing you did when you joined was that you sat quietly for the first 3 minutes, observing everybody's interaction on the table. Then you took charge. So that delay is what cost you this job." And I said, "Oh, fantastic." The next interview I went for, the moment we sat down, that's exactly what I did. I took charge. Why am I saying embracing failure as a learning opportunity? Sometimes when we fail or when we do not succeed in certain things, we see ourselves as failures. We don't see the fact that we failed at that activity. And that goes to children also. When a child fails, don't call the child a failure. The child failed at a certain activity. That doesn't mean they failed for the rest of their lives. The words we speak to people and we speak to ourselves are very important. So if you embrace failure as a learning opportunity, you stand a better chance of succeeding the next time, or even taking lessons from that specific thing to other areas of your life. That's one thing I just wanted to share quickly. Oh, time. Cultivate a love for learning. I'm a lifelong learner. That's something I do. Practice self-reflection and self-awareness. We're going to do a little bit of self-reflection today. Seek feedback and support. Although it's difficult, sometimes seek feedback and support. So of us only take feedback when it comes from people we like. If we dislike certain people, we will not take feedback from them. What I have decided in my life is this: I will not shoot the messenger. I will listen to the message, not the messenger. And that has helped me a great deal, because in the past, if I didn't like you, I'm not listening to you. You can say whatever you want to say. I'm just like, you're an hater. That's it. I don't care. That was just me. But I had to learn how to seek feedback and support from people. But be careful who you allow speak into your life. That's the only caution I'll put out there. Cultivate resilience. When you have a growth mindset, you set learning goals, which we're going to set one learning goal for the week today. And you practice positive self talk. The way you speak to yourself matters. Now, I talked earlier about seeking accountability and support. I know I've already touched on this, but these are some things you could do. Take a screenshot of this and you can save this somewhere. But identify the kind of support system that you need when it comes to support. I talked about the fact that you need support. You can't go in alone. You can't go far alone. You need support. But what kind of support do you need? Identify your support system. Identify people that can be part of that support system. Identify the way you learn, the way you receive feedback. There are some people that should not be part of your mastermind group, because the way they speak is not the way you like to be spoken to. So even if they are speaking the truth, it's not what they say, but how they say it. So be careful. So this person is always saying the truth. No, sometimes some people stay far, far, far away from them. Meaning they're speaking the truth. That doesn't mean they should be part of your inner circle. Choose wisely. Share your goals and progress with these people, especially your accountability partners. You can join a mastermind group. We're starting one again. Seek professional help. I had to seek a coach and a mentor that I work with. Engage in peer support. There are Facebook groups, there are other communities that you can use. Utilize technology and apps. AI tools are important. But in all this, what you need to understand is that you have to reflect and adjust. Sometimes we're in such a hurry to, and I know I'm in a hurry today. Sometimes we're in such a hurry to get over certain things that we fail to sit down and reflect. Now, when I talk about the week ahead, which is a series that we've started, we do it on Sunday evenings. We started it, I can't remember what month, was it April or May? And it's an evening series where we talk about the past week and plan for the future week. So we ask ourselves a top couple of questions. One major question we ask ourselves is this: what were my top 3 accomplishments for this week? If you set goals for yourself, you can easily talk about your top 3 accomplishments. Even if you didn't set goals, what were 3 things you did this past week that you were proud of? 3 major things. So you're reflecting on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What were three things that you accomplished this week that you're proud of? Three. Not don't think about 10. Even if it's one thing that you did this week that you're proud of. It doesn't have to be something major. But let's take note of the things that we are proud of that we've done. What based on what you did last week, what lessons did you learn from what you did? So what were the top three things you did last week? So based on what you did and what you were not able to do, what lessons did you learn? Then what changes are you going to make based on the lessons you've learned? So one lesson I learned, I will share as usual. One lesson I learned was that for my third place. So there's something called a third place, and I found out about it on TikTok. I talked about it on my podcast, but it's having this place that you go to apart from work or school where you can just be a creative and free. So I found a third place I go to every week. I go there on Thursdays, and it's like an improv class. And we were having a conversation on learning from children. So one thing I learned from last week is that the reason some children are more creative than adults is that they don't overthink the process. Some people overthink every single thing, and I realize that yes, I always say I'm a retired overthinker, but I still overthink certain things. And I'm like, okay, I'm overthinking this. And when I stopped overthinking it, it was difficult. I was able to enjoy the experience more because the experience was a simple, silly game that I wouldn't have taken into consideration initially. Why am I sharing this experience? Because that's something that I had to learn. So, what changes am I making based on what I learned? When I read the book, Artist Way. She talks about the fact that you should take out yourself out on a date on a creative walk. I think I want to start going out for walks daily. It's something I say I will do, but I just do it within the building. I want to start going out of the house. So that's something I realize that I think better when I walk. So that's a change I'm making to my routine. It can be something small like that. It doesn't have to be something major. Sometimes we only want to celebrate the major things when we are listing the changes we are making. Your change can be something very small. It can be, I will start drinking water before I go to bed. I will drink coffee. I won't drink coffee after a certain time. It could be something small or major. But what changes are you making based on that? And then now to plan for next week, we're going to talk about three different things I would like everybody to experiment with. I want us to set three goals next week: a learning goal, a sharing goal, and a working goal. And I will define what each one is in a short while. But the reason I'm giving you three jars and saying put one goal in each jar, you can decide to pick just your learning goal and that's all you want to work on. But I want you to document it. I don't want you to just say, I'm making a learning goal and then you don't document it because you won't know if you've made progress if you don't document it. So, your learning goal, your sharing goal, and your working goal. So, we'll start with the learning goal. Oh, sorry, with the rules. When you are writing these goals, I want you to be honest with yourself and not give yourself false answers or false things that you will not do because you want to feel good about yourself. So if you don't want to share your learning goal and it's something you're still thinking about, you can still think about it, but be true to yourself. And the second one is you're making a commitment to yourself. So if you're going to participate in these three goals, you're making a commitment to show up for yourself 100%. You're not showing up for me, you're making a commitment to you. That commitment is to you and to no one else. Now, what are the learning goals? I want you to think about something new. I know many authors have said it, learn something new every day. But I'm asking you to learn only one new thing this week. One new thing, not two, not 10, one. So I want you to learn something specific. It could be you're memorizing a quote. It could be something, and you don't have to learn the whole thing completely. But I'll say learning goals are specific objectives and targets that you want to meet. It could be acquire new knowledge or competencies. These goals provide focus and direction for personal growth and development. So, To make it realistic, if you want to learn a new skill, we can say by the end of this week, I will learn the basics of graphic design by completing an online course or tutorial. So even if it's to watch one YouTube video for the whole week, that is a specific learning goal that you're going to make for yourself. So you'll now write your commitment sentence. Remember, I told you about going to make a commitment to ourselves. Your commitment statement will be, if your learning goal is to learn a new skill or learn something about a new skill, I commit to dedicating at least 30 minutes each day to learning graphic design techniques, either through an online course or tutorial. If you want to deepen knowledge in a specific field, we did this week, I will delve into specific topics by reading a chapter from a relevant book or listening to a podcast episode. Okay, your commitment statement could be I commit to reading one chapter from a specific book or listening to one podcast this week. Like I said, I'm not going to make you do it every day. Since we're growing, we have to start small. If you want to cultivate a mindful practice, develop a mindfulness, you could do that through journaling or meditation. And we're actually discussing journaling tomorrow. So I commit to set 10 minutes aside daily for mindfulness practices, either through journaling or meditation. So it's a simple goal that you can definitely do. So please, a learning goal. It's quite simple, but I think the simplest things are the toughest to do because you're not running a marathon. You're doing something as simple as sitting still for 1 minute or meditating for 5 minutes. Now, working goals. So, with working goals, this is what I want you to think about. There's something there's something at home or at work that you've been putting aside for a long time. Before I read out what it is, think about this, just one thing. You're not thinking about two. It may be to clean a cupboard, empty a drawer, throw out the cords that are bad, clean the top drawer. It may be something simple or it may be something complex about completing a specific task. But I want you to do something active this week. So you're learning with one and you're doing something active this week. And your working goals are specific tasks or activities or projects that you aim to complete or make progress within a specific time frame. And the time frame we have is 1 week. So they are either personal or professional. I gave you examples of personal. Everybody has a cupboard in their house that just has bags that they've been trying to put aside. That can be your own working goal. So it's about prioritizing something. And I think it would help you stay motivated and it shows you that you can actually complete something if you put your mind to it. So revise and enhance an existing presentation for an important meeting. So for example, you have this presentation slides that you've always been presenting to people. And you're like, you know what? I want to revise it a little bit. Okay, I commit to allocating 10 minutes every day to review this. That's a specific thing. Declutter and organize my mobile device. Everybody has certain things on their mobile phone that they want to delete. There are some apps that you've not used in a while. Why can't that be your working goal? Is something active? Then you can also think about decluttering and organizing physical space. I will declutter this table. This dining table has too many books. I will rearrange these books. It doesn't have to be something complex, but you're doing something actively. And then your sharing goals are different, but it's about engaging on social media. So that one, I won't make that compulsory for everybody, for those that wish to share. But share something on social media about your progress, about what you're learning about goals, about something you're passionate about. I just want you to make one post this week. It could be putting a picture that you've not, or change your DP. You've not changed your DP in years. This may be a good opportunity as you're sharing goal to change it. But share your story. One thing with social media is that I know I'm moving away from that path, but it's something I'm passionate about. When it comes to sharing, share what you're passionate about. Share something that you enjoy doing. Share what you like seeing. Don't care about the engagement. It's about building that competence. So why am I giving you three jars? Because you have three different goals: your learning goal, your sharing goal, and your working goal. Three different things that you can work on in order for you to actually make a commitment to yourself. So your sharing goal, you can introduce yourself to your followers. They may have not heard your voice in a while. Say hello to people. Show a recent project. Give a highlight of a project that you've worked on in the past that you are very passionate and proud of, but you never invited people to share. You can share a scripture. You can share behind the scenes of something you did, or you can just give an insight or a tip, but share something. And you make a commitment again. So for every single thing, we are making commitment statements. So you're making a commitment to yourself to have one sharing goal. What exactly will you be sharing? One learning goal. What's something you want to learn? One thing, it can be, I want to read one chapter of the Bible this week. I want to read a chapter of a book that I wanted to read for a while. It's still something you are learning actively. And then one working goal. That project you've been putting aside for such a long time. What is that project and what do you want to do about it? And I think that brings us to the end of today's session. But before I leave you, I just want to say this. I think it's wonderful when we actually make commitments and keep them to ourselves, not because anyone else is going, not because I will know if you don't keep that commitment, but because you will know. So don't make a commitment because I am asking you to, but make a commitment because you want to change. Make a commitment because you think that there are certain things in your life that you don't want to be the same. When we talked about our goals and taking ownership starts small. Sometimes we try to do so many things at the same time, but why don't we start small and build up with these simple things that we've said we will share with ourselves? Your learning goal. Send me a DM if you want to share your goals with me so I can hold you accountable. I think I will do that with you this week. But if there are no questions, oh, I'm supposed to ask, are there any questions about taking ownership? And if no questions, okay, tomorrow is no. The simple word no. We're going to be talking about the power of no and why you have to say no to certain things, even if they seem very important. And what I think for me, this is something I learned very late because I love being involved in almost every project. Any project anybody is doing, I'm there. So I had to learn how to say no in a very, very, very difficult way. But I think it's going to be an amazing conversation. So it's the same time, 9 p.m. We'll have the conversation on the power of no. And I think we've got the power of no, morning routine, journaling, evening routine. We're going to talk about the power of sleep because everybody needs to sleep properly. And one more topic before we go to the reset. Now, the reset is an event we have on Saturday. A couple of people have registered, and it's an amazing event that we are hosting on Saturday, the 1st of July, that would help you set goals for the next 6 months because we're already 6 months gone into the year, and 80% of people who started who have goals don't accomplish them. So I want you to be among the 20% that accomplish their goals. So it's a 1 day virtual workshop. So you're going to join from the comfort of your home, and it's 3 hours in the evening. Someone was suggesting that we start at 6 p.m. So I'm going to have to send out an email to those that have already registered to see if we can start at 6 p.m. instead of 5, because she said 5 p.m. people are still on their way home, but by 6, most people are home. So we're considering starting 6 p.m. But if you've not gotten your ticket for the event, Saturday evening, these are the things we're going to be working on: how to overcome procrastination. We're going to create a roadmap that you use for the next 6 months, and I'll talk to you about the power of self accountability and introduce you to the accountability group that we are creating that would help you stay on track. So join me on Saturday, but tickets are available on the steadfastcreative.com/join the reset now. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, 9 p.m., as we discuss the power of no. All right, then. Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.